By Monday morning, the coffee was still warm when design director Lillian slammed her printed proposal on the desk. The ink-bled lines looked just like her furrowed brow. The client said this color scheme looks like expired juice. Were any of you even listening to the requirements last week? Her voice cut through the office cubicles. In turn, Noah's face flushed bright red, and his marker clattered to the floor. Nobody noticed the line at the end of the client's email. Maybe try warm tones, just a thought. And even fewer guessed this outburst would stall the project for 3 whole days and run off the team's best color specialist. This wasn't just a random office fight. It was a classic example of the wild horse outcome in psychology. An emotional avalanche triggered by a tiny irritation, eventually swallowing up far more value than the original problem ever did. The wild horse outcome gets its name from a sad observation on the African savanna. Zoologists noticed wild horses often get bitten by vampire bats. These bats only take a little blood each time, nowhere near enough to kill. But the horses get so angry and agitated that they run and kick wildly, until they're drained of energy and collapse. Later studies proved it. The horses didn't die from blood loss. They died from their own uncontrollable emotional reactions. Psychologists later defined this phenomenon, overreacting emotionally to small things, ending up with consequences way more serious than the issue itself, as the wild horse outcome. It's like a mirror showing the blind spot in how we manage emotions. Half the time, we don't lose to outside problems. We lose to our own out-of-control feelings. From a psychological angle, the root of the wild horse outcome lies in Albert Ellis' ABC theory of emotion. The theory says the activating event, A, doesn't directly cause the emotional consequence, C. What really makes the difference is how you interpret the event, your beliefs, B. Take a client asking for revisions, A, for example. Some teams see it as a chance to make the project better, B1, so they talk it out and improve the work, C1. But Lillian's team got stuck on "this means they hate our work," B2. An irrational belief. That's what led to the outburst and the stalled project, C2. These irrational beliefs usually have 2 traits: absolute demands and catastrophizing. Things like "the client has to love my proposal," or "one revision means the project's a failure." It's these extreme thoughts that make emotions run wild, like a horse with no reins, heading for disaster. At work, the wild horse outcome often spreads through the kick the cat effect. Here's a true story from an ad agency in New York. Creative director Mark thought his pitch got shot down when the CEO canceled their meeting last minute. He went back to his team and took it out on planning manager Sarah, yelling, "Can't you even confirm a basic meeting schedule?" Sarah was hurt and mad, so she turned on intern Tom, who was organizing files. "Your file system is a mess. You're wasting everyone's time." Tom didn't dare talk back. On his way home, he snapped at a food delivery driver who was a little late. The driver got flustered and dropped the order, had to pay for it himself, and made other customers wait too. What started as a meeting cancellation turned into a chain reaction of bad moods across jobs and even outside the office. That's the wild horse outcome spreading. Everyone became a messenger for anger, but no one stopped to think rationally about what started it all. Worse, people stuck in this cycle have high cortisol levels long term. That stress hormone slowly ruins memory, weakens the immune system, and even raises heart disease risk. It's just like the wild horses. Anger drains more than just energy. It drains health too. The wild horse outcome also blows up small issues at home. Take John, a dad from the Chicago suburbs. One day, he got stuck in traffic, was late to work, and got chewed out by his boss. He held on to that frustration. When he got home, he saw his 10-year-old son Ben playing video games instead of doing homework. John lost it, smashed Ben's game console and shouted, "I work my butt off to pay for your school, and all you do is play?" Ben cried and hid in his room, scrolling through phone videos until midnight. Next day, he was late to school. John's wife Amy tried to calm him down, but he snapped, "You don't even discipline him. Who are you to tell me what to do?" They fought for hours. The next day, Amy was so tired from no sleep that she argued with a grocery store cashier over a wrong coupon. John was so down that he messed up a key number on a report, almost cost the company a small order. What started as late to work, got yelled at, turned into a family mess, all because of out-of-control emotions. That's the scary part of the wild horse outcome. It turns one person's pain into fights for the whole family and slowly tears apart relationships and quality of life. Even in public life, the wild horse outcome can cause big trouble. A few years back, there was a multi-car crash on a Los Angeles freeway. It started when an SUV changed lanes and slightly cut off the car behind it. The driver behind, Mike, felt provoked. He sped up, purposely cutting the SUV off. The SUV driver, Lisa, got angry too. They started cutting each other off and racing down the freeway. Finally, Lisa lost control and hit the guardrail. Mike swerved to avoid her, crashed into another car, and that set off a 3-car pileup. Traffic was stuck for almost 4 hours, several cars totaled. Luckily, no one was hurt. Later, they found out Lisa was rushing to pick up her sick kid from the hospital. She just didn't check her mirrors when changing lanes. Mike was already in a bad mood from fighting with his friend the night before, so he overreacted to a small lane change. Both became angry wild horses that day, let emotions take over instead of reason. They paid a huge price for something tiny. Psychologists call this self-serving bias. We usually assume others act out of malice, but ignore the real situation. That bias is often the match that lights the wild horse outcome. But just like wild horses can choose not to let bats upset them, we can stop the wild horse outcome with small, active steps. The easiest way is the emotion pause. When you feel like exploding, stop what you're doing right away. Walk out of the room, take 10 deep breaths, or say to yourself, the peak of this anger only lasts 12 seconds. Just get through it. Studies show emotional peaks really only last about 12 seconds. Get past that storm, and reason comes back. If Lillian had taken 2 minutes to sip her coffee before reacting to the client's email, she might have seen the warm tones suggestion instead of blowing up. If John had sat on the couch for 5 minutes to calm down before walking in, he never would have yelled at Ben. A deeper fix is cognitive restructuring, trading irrational beliefs for rational ones. For example, instead of thinking a client's revision equals they hate my work, try a client's revision equals we can make this better together. Instead of Ben not doing homework equals he's lazy and disrespects me, think Ben not doing homework equals maybe he's stuck and needs help. Ellis Rational Emotive Behavior Therapy, REBT, says that changing how you think long-term rewires how you react emotionally. You stop letting small things control you. Also, regular exercise and meditation boost emotional control. Exercise releases endorphins and serotonin, helps calm anxiety and anger. Meditation trains focus, so you notice emotions sooner instead of letting them take over. Wild horses on the savannah can't see that their real enemy isn't bats, it's their own anger. But we humans have reason and self-awareness. We don't have to follow their mistake. Small things in life are like vampire bat bites. A little annoying, but not enough to ruin us. What can ruin us is overreacting, letting emotions run wild like those horses. Learning to make peace with emotions isn't about pushing them down. It's about staying clear-headed when they hit, so they don't turn into a flood that eats away at your life. When you can look at small problems rationally and manage your emotions calmly, you hold on to the peace and value in your life, and stay far from the trap of the wild horse outcome.